What's up, guys? Just getting myself settled here. Wait for a couple people to get in. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Hey, Jax, what's up? How are you? Welcome. Okay, good. Thank you. I've been sick, so my voice is a little raspy. How you doing, Jax? Oh, good. I'm glad you're good. I've been sick for the past couple weeks. I've had like this bronchitis thing, and of course, it always starts out like allergies. Hey, Mosaic Mama, how are you, honey? How you doing? I'm so glad you're around and you're up. The late nighters. Yeah, I've been a little under the weather. Yeah, it is. It's going around. The kids like had it. They were some of them were home from school for like 3 or 4 days. Ugh. I kind of took some time off from work this week, so next week I'll be busy. It just stinks, I just feel like I'm always so healthy, but then when I get knocked out with something, I get hit hard. Definitely get hit hard. I know, that's so great, Mosaic, that you're doing that. You're putting together like bags for like homeless people, right? Like all kinds of winter essentials and just grooming essentials and self-care and all that kind of stuff, right? That's awesome. That's so great. Oh yeah, sleeping bags. Yeah, sleeping bags make a big difference. I mean, they really can keep you nice and warm. I mean, I can't even imagine, being out on the streets when it gets to be cold like it is, I just can't even imagine. Well, that's so great. That's so great. Yeah, I'll get with you. I'll message you because if you need some grooming stuff, I might be able to get some stuff. Combs or brushes or sorry, things like that, I might be able to get them to you. Yeah, no problem. I'll see what I can do. It's crazy because even for myself, like being in the profession, doing hair, um, when I go to the supply stores, that are for professionals, the shelves have been bare for so long where there's only like a couple of this or a couple of that. And so like we're trying to stock up when we can, because the distributors are only getting so much out at one time. So I'll see what I can find. I have to actually go before Tuesday, so I'll see what I can find either tomorrow or Monday when I go to the store, with my distributors and see what I can get. And it's just nice. It's just nice to have, either a small brush or a comb or something, you know what I mean? Just to kind of keep yourself, good. Hey, Tara, how are you? My hair came out pretty good. Oh, you saw me doing my foils on Barnes panel. I was foiling my hair tonight, guys. And I was on a live stream. I was on Barnes panel earlier tonight. It came out pretty good. I still have to do more. There's always something that you have to do. But no, it did. Thank you. Oh my God, I know. I was sitting there in my kitchen. I'm like, well, I could like just chill out tonight, or I could actually be productive when no one else is around. Yeah, Mosaic, like simple things like that, like just to humanize, like just to make you feel nice and normal. If I was closer to you, and you were making efforts, doing outreach work, I would even say like, let's schedule a day where we could do like, haircuts or something like that for people, You can come to me. I'll give you a haircut, whatever you want to do. Your hair looks great. I think your hair looks awesome. I know, Tara, was so funny. I'm up there just putting foils on my head, trying to communicate with Mars or something. It's so much harder to do yourself, So much harder to do. No, your hair always looks good. It does. Trust me. It takes one to recognize it. I'm so sorry if I'm coughing in you guys' ear. Oh. Okay, so have a good night, Tara. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it, hon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I wanted to talk about something because I have not been able to do a live recently, and I'm not going to stay on very long, but I did want to address something. Because it's something that's happened to me being a part of this community. And when I say this community, it's like all of us that are encompassed together, So there's, I think, a lot of times people with good intentions, and then I think there's a lot of times with people that have ulterior motives for what they say and what they do. Okay. And a few weeks back, I was in a chat room and started speaking about a situation that my family has been going through for the past 10 years. And for anybody that doesn't know, hey, JMS, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in, honey. Thank you. Oh, I so appreciate it. So good to see you. So for those of you that don't know, but a lot of you do, and this has kind of been talked about a little bit here and there, it's nothing that my channel is based on, but it is something that has become therapeutic for me to talk about and talk through. My very precious niece was killed almost 10 years ago in a school shooting in Connecticut. And it is probably the most traumatic, horrific thing that I've ever endured. And, there's been some really poignant times in my life where there have been really amazing, happy things, and there have been some really very tragic things. And this all happened at a young age, to myself, to my family. And so it's just been, it's only been recently, after all these years, that I finally have grieved through and gone through so many of the stages of grief that I'm able to actually speak about it and not choke up and tear up every single time in speaking about it. And in speaking about it, it allows me to cathartically deal with the loss of my niece. That's just how I've had to do things. That's just my way. My family has been extremely, extremely private when it comes to what has happened, in our family and to our family. And that was their choice. And I think that that's amazing, because I don't think anybody could really foresee the amount of scrutiny that was going to take place following the events of the school attack. I don't think anybody could foresee the fact that there was going to be lawsuits 10 years later on a journalist who was trying to hide behind, the banner of free speech and the right of free speech, but not acting with integrity. He was proven guilty for the fact that he very much so did not speak to truths, and he was very much putting content out there to lead people in a different direction, to think that maybe this did not happen. Okay. Thank you, Mosaic. Yeah. It has been a tremendous loss, and it has been a journey. Just the path to try to understand sometimes, because you want to make sense. Like, I'm a very logical person, I'm a very sensible person, and so I always want to make sense of something, and I want to understand something, because then if I understand something, I can then put it to the side and I can move on from it. I can put it to rest. And this is just something that we've never been able to make sense of. We did not try to fall privy to a lot of the conspiracy theory narratives that were out there. My family has chosen not to partake in any of the different lawsuits, and there were different lawsuits amongst different things. There was the lawsuit with Alex Jones and Free Speech Systems. There was a lawsuit with Remington Arms, being the maker of the AR-15. And those are for all various reasons. And I think that they are for all very good reasons, And so when I speak about what I've been through, because this is part of my journey, part of my family, but I am also upholding their wishes to remain private and not be in the public spotlight. So I do not say my niece's name. And I do not say, the relationship, if it's my sister's child or my brother's child, or anything like that, because the more information sometimes you put out there, the more times people are then going to seek to want to know more, to troll you or to troll your family. And that's not what I'm trying. That's not what I'm trying to do here, And people can say, well, if you're not going to say how you're related, well, first of all, I don't think that should ever be a question, to say how you're related to somebody. Like, if I say, this is my mother, or this is my father, or this is my child, no one is asking me, well, prove, show me, how are you, how is that your mother? How is that your child? You know what I'm saying? I was really disappointed, because there was a person that I had befriended a while back through YouTube, who had inserted herself into becoming friends with one of the parents from the school massacre, and continued to help that person, I guess, in his journey. And he was very public in speaking about his loss of his child, and he was very much trolled, and he was very much attacked by social media, by, Alex Jones and all this other stuff. And I thought that was really commendable. I thought that was really commendable. So, hi, Tiffany. How are you? I wasn't, I didn't say your name. I don't know why you're coming in here like this. You see, guys, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speak about something that happened to me personally. And I wanted to speak about how a lot of things that have been going on in the media have been minimizing the loss for so many families, And I don't know why you think everything is about you, Tiffany. I really don't. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 minute, please. Hey, Morgan, how are you? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. So what I was saying was, we're coming upon the 10-year anniversary of all of our family's losses, and it feels like yesterday. It feels like absolutely yesterday that this happened, like that this immense tragedy that we all just never, there's nothing that could ever prepare you for such a such a catastrophe. I can't even use an adjective that would encompass all of the feelings in one word that would describe the tremendous, incredible feeling that one feels when something like that happens. You know, when something like that happens to your family, when something like that happens in your community, you know, um, I'm doing well, Morgan. Thank you. Thank you. Um, I've been a little under the weather past couple weeks. The kids and I have been, but we're on the road to getting better health wise, which is good. Thank you so much. And so, like I was saying, a lot of this is very cathartic. A lot of this is just me speaking about this. And I think the hardest part is that there have been times where, well, one in particular, where somebody very disingenuously wanted to minimize and trivialize the fact that I lost a family member. I lost, a child. I mean, not my biological child, but my niece. And it's so hard to even hear those words come out of somebody else's mouth because, first of all, that's not true. And second of all, I don't really know how that can even be said by somebody, like, and it was never a question. And the hardest part is that by me actually having the gumption to speak about it and trusting our community, like where I have felt comfortable to speak about certain things, my channel is a very small channel. It has nothing to do with the loss of my niece, but I have spoken about this because I have gotten close to, many of you guys, which I am so grateful for. And I'm so grateful to have the platform to be able to speak about this. And I think it's really hard. I think it's really a hard thing when you want it like cathartically, therapeutically, like the way, to just speak about something. And then somebody comes in and is like, yeah, that's not really your family. And I did the research on this and I know. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because you don't know anything. Yeah, it did. It did send shockwaves through. It did. It really, really, really did. 100%. It did. Thank you, Tara. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I've always been hurting because there's never been a moment in my life where I wouldn't have taken the time to trade places with my niece and I wouldn't have been the one to be here. Okay. And until you've been through something like that in your own life, in your own family, you know, I would have traded places with her in a heartbeat. I would have, you know. Um, and there is a meaning for everything. And I have the firm belief that there is a meaning for everything that happens in life. And I'm still, I think, trying to search for the reason why, you know. Um, I miss her. I used to call her my flower princess. That was my nickname for her, and she was my flower princess. Um, and she was such a doll, and she was just so full of life and smiles, and just so had everything in front of her, And if I close my eyes, I can still picture her face and her smile and her beautiful eyes and her gorgeous hair and skin, right in front of my face, you know, and that's the hard part, because you wonder to yourself, like, why does this happen? Why? And then you wonder, there's another dark side to this where you never knew that part of people existed. No, Mosaic, grief is not linear. And I think sometimes it definitely comes in waves. And it comes in time periods. Like I said, we're coming upon the 10-year anniversary. And there's been so much movement that has happened in the community and with the different families and how people have tried to move forward. The only way to get through tough things is to go right through it. And part of my journey and part of my therapy and my cathartic way is to just go right through it. And to talk about it sometimes. And I'm sorry if that upsets people. What upsets me is being called a liar, being called a fake victim. I mean, I don't ever know if I've ever even heard that term before, fake victim, because it wasn't in my vocabulary, because it wasn't within my scope of how I operate as a human being. But I was called that. And if that's what, people want to say, it's not okay. It's not fair. It's trivializing everything about the human race. I mean, and you know what? I've never done anything bad to anybody to even ask for those kinds of things to be done. But you know what? Here's the thing. Because I'm a good person, because I'm a nice person, because I'm very honest, I mean, I guess that could be seen as a weakness. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is. My family's not weak. I'm not a weak person. We've all been dealing with this in our own ways. We've all been grieving. We've all been therapeutically trying to move forward, trying to work through all of the pain and the loss that we have endured. And I think that, it's that time of year, and I hate to say this because I'm not cliche like that. Like, I'm really not. Like, it is that time of year where we're talking about Thanksgiving and we're coming upon, like Christmas, the holidays, New Year's, all this other stuff, right? And so, of course, it gives us a moment to take pause and to gather up ourselves, in our own lives and how we want to maybe, I don't know, move forward or how we want to be able to do things, change things about ourselves, move in different directions, I know that the path that I have been given has not been an easy one. And I'm not even just talking about my niece. I'm talking about everything that has happened in my life. It has not been easy. And that didn't really start until I became a little bit older. And, I grew up going to church, and I do believe in a higher being. I believe in God. I believe in, the power of prayer. I definitely think that sometimes God is not going to give us more than we can handle in a day. Although there have been times that I have looked up to the sky and said, God, I have no more strength to go through anything else. So please stop thinking that I'm this strong. Please stop thinking that I'm this strong. Please stop thinking that my family is this strong. You need to give us a break. Please give us a break now. We're maxed out in terms of what we're able to do. We have to get through some of this. Yeah, Tara. I agree. I can replay that entire day over and over and over again in my head. There's very pinnacle moments, I think, in my life that I can replay over and over and over again, from the time that I heard the news to the time that I heard, got notification of, her being, one of the victims. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I'm just not okay with letting things sit. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong here, because I don't think that I am, because this is the way that I do things. I am the voice for my niece because she's no longer here. And that doesn't mean I have to be loud or boisterous or in people's faces all the time. Yeah, Morgan, thank you. Yeah. I'm just really baffled as to why people actually think that they have the right to rewrite the narrative because they sound credible in saying that this didn't really happen to me, or this person is not a family member, or, uh, I've read things. Oh, Mosaic, you're good, honey. That was quick. That was real quick. Mosaic, do you want to come up and talk for a couple minutes with me? You don't have to. You certainly don't have to come up. But you guys know what I'm saying? Like, when someone trivializes it, when someone minimizes it, when someone degrades you, when someone says, no, that didn't happen to you, or that wasn't your family. Who in the world ever even thinks to speak like that? It boggles my mind. And I'm here speaking about something that so very tragically happened to me and my family. And I have been given, so much, like, love and support from you guys when it comes to it. And then yet there's that other side. And I'm not used to that. And forgive me, like, I don't know that dark side of the web. I don't know people that think like that and that act that way. And I may mince my words sometimes, and I may trip up a little bit because it is a very emotional topic. Yeah, Morgan, you're right. It does. It invalidates my feelings. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I appreciate you being here, Mosaic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, and Tara, you're right. It is getting a ton of attention again, and it is bringing things back to the surface. And so many times we have to, oh my gosh, my dog sounds like a horse walking through the house right now. You guys, I don't know if you can hear his. Hey, bud. Hi. He tap dances on my floors with his nails. One of my dogs. Yeah, and I think that that's why I wanted to speak about it, even kind of, I don't want to say getting ahead of the curve, but just, it was my time. It was my place. I had waited for a very long time, just to be able to speak about it. And there are things that each of us that have been through this are working on individually. There are projects that different families have taken upon themselves and have started organizations, in their children's names, um, to move forward from this, to prevent bullying, or just recognizing signs of maybe mental illness. Um, because the boy that committed these crimes, he was not a well person. And so, we have made very small strides, very personal rather than publicly, to have foundations set up in my niece's name to help people with costs of different things. And we're working more towards what else we can do, to keep, her memory alive, and to help support other children, and figure out ways where this can be mitigated and not happen again, you know. Um, Thank you, Mosaic. Thank you. And yeah, and Morgan, yeah, and absolutely. Whether a person is blood or not, that was never a thought that crossed my mind that I would have to prove, um, until it was actually brought up by somebody else, because then it all of a sudden became negating the fact that whether this person is a blood relative or not, and whatever, whatever. And then further on, going on about a conversation saying that, I actually haven't spoken to the family in 6 years, and it was related to my, ex-husband. And I'm like, no, like, absolutely not. Like, it was mind boggling that those kinds of things were even being said. And then furthermore, when I have talked about it and said, no, like, this is not, I don't have to prove anything. I just don't have to prove anything. Hey, Random, how are you? Um, you know, it- Dare I know? I mean, it's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. The things that were, and the crazy part is that the things that were questioned weren't actually done on a platform per se. They were done behind the scenes. So what happens a lot of the time is when you become friends with somebody, and you know they start texting you to ask you questions, or to bully you, or to incite you to act a certain way. And I don't roll that way. Thank you, Random. It's good to see you too. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Um, Again, I'm on here to just speak about a personal experience, and right away someone comes in and says, "Why are you talking about me?" I didn't say anything. I mean, if that's not a guilty conscience, I don't know what is. I really don't. There's very few times that you're going to hear me speechless. There's a lot of times I'll be quiet, but there's always a time that I have something that I want to say, and these are one of those times where I'm completely speechless. Like, completely and totally speechless about things. Hey, Melissa, how are you, sweetheart? Oh my God, so nice to see you. Oh my God, thank you for coming. We're just chatting it up here, or I'm just chatting it up. um, I just would like for somebody to explain to me how that happens. Um, you're a new sub, Random, are you? As much as I've known, or as long as I've known you, you're a new sub. I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad. Um, well, okay, so what I have been talking about, um, is something I don't talk about very much. I think, Melissa, I think you know this. Well, maybe Random, you do too. I was speaking about the loss of my niece. Um, it's coming upon the 10-year anniversary of the school massacre in Connecticut. And, it's sparked, there's been a lot of different trials, lawsuits going on with different various entities that partook in a sequence of events. I'm trying to speak so eloquently about this, and sometimes I just want to be so not. And basically, what I'm talking about is the fact that, like, you know, we as the family members of the victims, um, because that is exactly what they are. These children, these 20 children and 6 adults, are incredible heroes, and they were victims, and the families were victims. Hey, Purple Butterfly, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Um, I was speaking about, just my niece, and, you know, just in speaking about her, which this is not what my platform has been about. It has not been about growing my channel because of my niece or anything of that nature. It's something, though, that I, in therapy over the last 10 years since the loss, have had to find a cathartic way to push through, the pain, the hurt, the loss, everything that has happened, make sense of things. Hi, Net. How are you? Thank you for coming. Um, and there has been, unfortunately, some people that wanted to minimize and trivialize and make my loss not my loss, wanted to tell me that my niece was not my niece, wanted to come on YouTube and try to make themselves sound extremely credible and knowing all this knowledge about me and my family, which they know nothing about. And that's not okay. That is not okay. No, Tara, and you know what? You're right. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Um, and no one is going to take anything. And it is my job, having a voice and being alive, to be the voice for my niece, because you know what? It is nobody's place to tell me or my family who is our family, what we have been through. Oh, they've done the research on things and this, that, and the third. And so it is extremely painful to be trolled and re-victimized when you thought that you had really so delicately tippy-toed around all this, because my family has been so private. Yeah, Random. I have. I've touched on it a couple times. It's nothing I've gone into grave detail about. My family has been very private about this. I don't speak exactly like her name or things like that, because the last thing I need to do is put more information out there to then have my family trolled, which they have been incredibly private throughout this entire time. And that is so very hard to do because, so many times, at least for myself, I want to like scream at the rooftops because that's the way that I can be sometimes. Like I can be very loud, I can be very boisterous. I can say, stop, leave us alone, all these other things, and well, yeah, random someone. Well, no, here's the thing. I've never had to prove how my family is my family. And they wanted to then start making up stories about it had nothing to do with how that person is related to me, and sounded very credible about it, and wanted to come up like I was being disingenuous, or I was putting that person in danger, or I was um talking negatively. And I'm like, I have just been speaking the truth about my family. And you're right. I cannot trust too many in this community. And it's not that I've trusted people, but the very mere fact of, like, net, for example, like, you have children, okay? Like, you have sons. No one is going to say to you, oh, you got to prove that those are your sons. Like, I have children. I have a mother. I have a father. I have, family members. Like, no one's going to say with, like, oh, prove that those are your kids, or, like, but then when all of a sudden something happens and you're just simply talking about it, and then someone else doesn't really like the narrative that you're talking, then, that's when it becomes difficult, because then they want to come in and say, well, no, this isn't really yours. And, because they want to, and it never even occurred to me. And this is me being very wet behind the ears and very stupid, if you will, when it comes to things like this. I just, those kinds of thoughts and those kinds of things never go through my head, because I'm just not that kind of person, and I just don't think that way. I just don't. And, if that makes me, I don't know, naive, stupid, dumb, you know, I don't know. Um, I was shocked. I was really shocked, and I was really surprised. And, yeah, Melissa, I mean, when, there's been times where our family, we sit down, we go through certain things that are going on, because we'd like to keep up to date with what's happening legally. You know what I'm saying? So there have been the trials that were taking place, with InfoWars, Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist. And there was just so much information that was in the dockets, that was, presented. And sorry. Well, no, Melissa, so I think you're thinking of the wrong person here. We're not talking about TH here. I'm not talking about TH here. I know, Random, you're right. It does not matter how families come to be, but I just it's so hard to even describe or encapsulate the moments in time when this all happened, and how we've had to push through to move forward, and the things that have happened with my family, just them alone, and the things that have happened with the other families. And it's incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard, when like Tara was saying earlier, like the things are coming up again in the media. We're coming upon the 10-year anniversary. And it is talked about. And yes, we want to keep our family members names and memories and their souls alive. We want to be able to do that. Um and then just by me speaking about it and just by me making mention of different things that have happened, and it's just so disingenuous and it is so rotten when someone wants to tell you that that's not your family or make a video about it. And here's the other thing. No, I haven't spoken about anything for the past, I don't know, few weeks because I've been sick. I mean, you guys know. I've gone live and I speak my opinion and I always try to respectfully put out there what I'm thinking, and I think that this is one of the hardest things for me to kind of withhold emotion. And I'm trying so hard to just be honest and upfront and talk through it. And for somebody to actually say that I am a fake victim and that was not my niece, that is so absolutely 1000 fucking percent rotten. It is rotten to the core. Melissa, who am I talking about? I'm talking about TM and her boyfriend. I'm talking about TM and her boyfriend. Because that's what was done. Because that's what was said. Because, she's very eloquent in how she speaks. She sounds very knowledgeable. She makes everything sound like, if she was selling you shit on a stick for lunch, she would make it sound like the most appetizing lunch you would ever have. And you would pay $1 million. And that, you're right. This person wants to tear me apart, but you know what? Guess what? I'm way stronger than that. I'm way stronger than that. No one's going to tear me apart. Because you know what? I'm going to be allowed to continue to go through the grieving process. I'm going to continue to go through the therapeutic ways that I need to in order to continue to keep my niece's memory alive. And I will never allow this to happen to somebody. Never. The so ridiculously conniving bullshit things that are said about somebody, it's just so hard. Hey Sharon, how are you, honey? No problem. Yeah, Morgan, you know what? You're right. It's like saying you can't grieve for your husband if he was to die because he's not my blood. I mean, and you know what the crazy part is that she's not my niece through any type of a marital situation. That is not the case. That is not the case. And that is exactly what was told because, she did this research and she knows and all these other things. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. It's really cute that that's what you want to put out there and spew as the rhetoric, but that's not the case. It's not the case. But Morgan, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because you marry somebody and then you maybe procreate and all this other stuff, but in essence, you're only tied to each other by a legal document. You're not blood, you know? um, And it's crazy. I think about all of the parents out there that I have a very, very, very good friend of mine. And that, this is just speaking about how, we all talk about how family is our family and blood is your blood, no matter what, right? But then family is also family based on a lot of other factors too. And I'm not trying to say that that's the case here with myself, because that's the picture that was trying to be painted and everybody wanted answers about it. And I'm like, how all of a sudden did everybody want to have answers as to how this person is my niece, where that was never even in question before? But here's the thing. I have a very good friend of mine. I've had a very good friend of mine for all my life who all she ever wanted to do was grow up, get married, and be a mom. This was her purpose. This was the kind of girl that you could just, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, she was like my mini me, or my alter ego. You know what I mean? Like, we looked the same, like we had the same interests, and all she wanted to do, she grew up, she went to school, she became a teacher, and all she wanted to do was get married and be a mom. She got married early, and to her sweetheart from high school, and guess what? She went through hell and back trying to get pregnant. And it just, after everything that they did, every kind of trial thing, in vitro, everything, she just couldn't. And so her path was not to biologically have children. And so what she did is she started adopting. And she's adopted multiple children over the years from different areas of the US. One of her children is Cherokee Indian, or Native American, and then another one, so she has children of all different types of like ethnicities and backgrounds, but those are her kids. So someone's going to come in and say, like, those are really your kids because they're not biologically yours. I mean, on paper, yeah, like you adopted them or whatever. Like, how is someone to say what is your family and what is not? And the crazy part, though, is that this is somebody that is related to me through me and my family, has nothing to do with my ex-husband. Has nothing to do with my ex-husband. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. And thank you guys for listening and being here to allow me to talk about this, because this is so important. This is so important to me because it was important for me to speak about my niece and who she is and was up until the age of 6 years old before she was tragically killed. And then it's also a purpose now for me to still be her voice and to stand up for what's right, because there have been just so many evil things that have been done, that have been said, that have just, like I said, I was taken aback. I was really taken aback. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Morgan. And you know what? This was not, again, I never even thought I had to explain the relationship. Because it was never even a question, you know? It's my family, and what I've been through is what I've been through. It's never changed, you know? The loss is still there. The pain is still there. The grieving is still there. The therapeutic ways of getting through it is still there. Yeah, Sharon, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was written in the chat. Um, and that's just somebody that just has no, I don't know, moral compass. My other dog just came into the room, guys. Hold on. Oh my gosh. They all eventually pile their way in here, and they have to come under the covers, and then they have to like spin around. Oh, I can't even make myself laugh. Yeah, no, you're right, Net. They don't. And there's a difference between empathy and sympathy, right? So sympathy is when you can feel for what somebody is going through. Like you can have compassion. You can lend your heart and a helping hand. Empathy is actually when you have been through similar situations in your life and can relate to it from that point. And so many times people confuse the word sympathy and empathy, but you're right. I mean, people just cannot understand whether it's from a sympathetic or an empathetic point of view. Random, I'm reading what you just wrote. I'm like, oh my God. Thank you. It's awesome. Apparently, Random is blowing up Sharon's phone, which is great because I need a comic relief right now. Thank you. Yeah, Morgan, it's not, so here's the other thing. So yeah, it's none of her business. It's none of her business. But the crazy part is that there are so many things that she makes her business. You think about that. Anywhere that there is devastation, there is that person to show up to be destructive, or I don't know. And the other thing is that I am not here. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Okay, guys, sorry. I'm so sorry. Morgan, I am so sorry for your loss. I'm just going through comments here, guys. Yeah, Mosaic, we talked about this. Yeah. Yep. No, Mosaic, you're not interrupting anybody. Not at all. I'm just looking through something here, guys. I'm sorry. Sharing, you're good. You're fine. Totally fine. Yeah, if Sharon tells me it's okay, I can certainly give it to Mosaic. Absolutely. So I'm curious to know I'm probably going down a rabbit hole here, but that's okay. Because when my name is tagged and mentioned in somebody's community post, and I literally just realized this today, I want to share this with you guys, the message that was written here. So in if you go to eBeggars, in his community wall 3 weeks ago, he writes a post and it says, if you have a shred of ethical blood in your veins, you should listen to this stream. What Tiffany explains here is accurate, and me saying this is not in any way me trying to minimize what Cindy Infinity went through. I feel horrible for what she went through. I do believe she lost her niece, no matter if it was a blood relative or a close family friend, etc. That was never anything in question until Tiffany posed the question because she didn't like what I was talking about. A person can have a niece or nephew that isn't blood related. All that I asked, I believe, was just clarification so that people listening to the accusations hurled back at Tiffany could be made with full disclosure as to what that relationship was. It doesn't minimize anything to be forthright with the nature of it all. Well, no, but that was never even something that was in question. That wasn't even the nature of the conversation. And furthermore, I'm not going to disclose how it is, whether it's my sister's kid or my brother's kid. I'm not going to do that because here's the thing. That just gives more information to then let my family be trolled when they already know that my family has been so private about it. But again, eBayers wanted to make a community post about this because, he thinks that, Tiffany's being very forthright, and so am I. I mean, her accusations and her insinuations were incredibly unfounded and untruthful, but either way. It says, one day maybe I will share how Tiff and I became friendly. It's a long, windy journey, however, laugh out loud. But what started out a bit rocky ended where we are today. She has character, and she does help those who are being unjustly attacked. That I can assure you of. Yeah, Sharon, if you want me to text her that, no, I can text Mosaic your number. You want me to do that? I can do that. No problem. Hold on. I just sent it to Mosaic. Sorry for coughing in you guys' ear. So did you guys hear what I just read on the community wall? So, right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. I mean, oh no, Sharon, I already sent it to her. I'm on it. And so I don't see everybody's because I know that I get blocked from a lot of people's, And the first person commenting in this, which has nothing to do with me, it has nothing at all, is Chemist Chaz. 100. Smiley face, 100. Okay. You have no idea. You're not part of it. Oh no, Mosaic, I sent you a text. I'm just saying I sent you a text. And TM writes, thank you for this. I'm just reading from eBeggar's community wall. And, it's so sickening to read what is said. So I'm not boring you guys, am I, with all this? Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, so here's the thing. So here's what's said by TM. She says, And I was never trying to minimize her loose. It's not my lose, it's my loss or pain. My mom's best friend throughout life. My aunt Noreen, although not blood related, is closer to me than my actual aunts by blood. However, I find it incredibly important to be clear that there is an information that blood family members are privy to and knowledge other would not know. Okay. Additionally, the current state of this relationship with this family is critical. If you are going to make outrageous and serious allegations of threats, harassments, and horrible behavior, I feel that it is important to point out accurately exactly who you are in detail, not to mention when you are going to lie about me. I was not lying about her. What I was speaking about that night in SG's chat was I was speaking about how her name was written in um, documents that pertained to the court proceedings. That's all. No, Sharon, I sent Mosaic the message. Silly girl. But do you guys see what's being like? I'm reading this again as I'm reading it to you guys. She says, I feel that it is important to point out accurately exactly who you are in detail. Why? Not to mention, when you are going to lie about me, I will tell the truth as I know it. I did look into it for a bit further and confirmed what she told me to be true. I feel terrible she experienced this. I wish she wouldn't use her loss and trauma as a means to inaccurately slander me with. There has to be a better way to redirect her pain. That is the most gaslighting, ridiculous statement that I've ever read in my entire life. First of all, I do not have to accurately depict every little bit of information. The reason being is that because by making me feel that I need to do so is exactly proving the point of the fact that I am not going to be trolled and my family is not going to be trolled and they are not going to be harassed. Okay? I am not on here to raise money, to do anything other than speak about my personal experience. And that is it. Okay? If that person decided to involve themselves way before they ever knew me, way early on in the game, then you know what? It is that person's footsteps that they took that they then now have to deal with. They have to deal with the consequences of their actions of getting involved. So I am very sorry if you feel that I'm putting you in danger or anything other than by simply mentioning the fact that you are written in the court documents and the discovery that pertained to the case. Well, no, Sharon, that was the response that TM wrote. I mean, they're asking. It goes and you guys can go into the community page. I mean, I didn't even realize that this was a post. Um, but I never made any inaccurate. I never made any. I never hurled any accusations her way. I never. I have never said anything like, there has been speculation and other people have said things, and I'm like, I'm just not doing that. Like, I don't engage in that. What I was doing was speaking about my own personal pain, my own personal trauma, and I didn't even realize. But, I thought to go there because I know that there's been many times that, sometimes I think eBaggers comes in with like a really good rapport and has a really good demeanor and wants to, talk about what's going on. And then there's other times that, he inserted himself, and I'm like, this had nothing to do with you. Like, why? I don't know. I just don't know. And earlier in the night, she comes in, she's like, why are you talking about me? I'm like, I'm not talking about you. I haven't said your name. I'm speaking about my personal experience. It is my business to speak about my personal experience and my loss. And I have every right to do so. And it also is my business to speak about the things that are being said to me or that are being questioned and presented to me. And no, I don't think that I have to prove myself to anybody necessarily. It's more like these are the things that go on. These are the things that are still going on to this day. And it's not fair for people. It's not fair for people to speak about a personal experience and then have it be questioned and minimized. And you're called a fake victim. Like, it's just not okay. Yeah, but you know what, Sharon? Yeah, you're right. But I mean, it is absolutely, and you guys can tell me if I'm not, you people can come in and listen, and people can come and go. Whether you're coming or you're going, whether you're in the bushes, make sure to give the thumbs up. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Whether you're coming or going, like, this is my space. This is my room. This is my platform. These are the things that I would like to talk about. And whether I have no people in here and it's just me talking to myself, or I have 20 something people in here, at 3:30 in the morning, I'm so blessed to have that. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for everybody that's here, that's listening, whether you're chatting, whether you're just listening, whether you're trolling, I mean, there's nothing that I'm saying here that is not untruthful. Thank you, Sharon. Guys, Sharon's been a good friend, and it's not just on YouTube, but behind the scenes. And she knows a lot of what, she knows a lot of what has been said. She's watched a lot of it happen, and thank you. Yeah, it is. It's a very difficult topic, and, it's very far and few between. I can find opportunities where I have a moment that I can actually gather myself and gather my thoughts and actually talk about it, but it is something, it is very something that is so important, that I do need to talk about. I do, and I appreciate you guys listening. There's going to be no change that happens. And I say this all the time, like, there's a lot of controversy over the lawsuits that have taken place when it comes to this. And people questioned as to why, different lawsuits were happening. And is it really, somebody, should the onus or the burden or the responsibility be put on somebody? And I said, so many times nothing changes if everything stays the same. And so a lot of times lawsuits have to be brought forth, to make valid points to then make changes occur, whether it was with the gun maker, whether it was with, Alex Jones and InfoWars and free speech systems and the way that they do business. Free speech is not just free speech. Like, you just can't say what you want to say and like it's considered free speech. Thanks, Annette. I'm glad you can't sleep and you saw me live. I'm glad you were able to come in. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. And yeah, Sharon, you're right. Thank you. You have such kind words. You really do. You can speak so eloquently sometimes, and I appreciate that. It's a very delicate matter. It really is. And I'm not saying anything that's untruthful. I'm not saying anything that I haven't been through. I'm not pretending, and it's just it's really too bad. It's really too bad that I can't. I just even started to speak about it, and um you know, hey Rich, good morning. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Guys, give me like 2 minutes. Talk amongst yourselves, okay? Don't leave, okay? Give me like 2 minutes here. Hey guys, sorry about that. Oh, hey Spaceman, thank you so much for coming in. Oh no, I was just taking a little bathroom break. Sorry. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Drifter Nomad, thank you. Oh, you guys are gonna make me cry. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I really do. And yeah, you know what? It's like, these are holiday times and they're happy times. And I think holidays are for people are such a mixed bag of emotions. You know what I mean? Um, and I always try to focus on the glass being half full, but at the same time, I'm such a realist, it's ridiculous. So like, even just the way my brain works, like I'm such a math, like, English person, which is such a internal struggle in my brain, just the way that it works, because it's like, I like to have fun, I like to be creative, and it's like, I gotta keep everything in order and clean it up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the way my brain works sometimes. And I don't know if this is ever going to be an issue that is ever really truly cleaned up and swept up and kept in a tight little box and we put it to rest, because as much as we would like to have that happen, there's always going to be something that is said and that is talked about, and that people can look at it being a tragedy in my life and thinking that that's a weak spot for me. And the fact of the matter is that I can actually talk about it and speak about it now, because I have been through the traumatic therapeutic process, so I can talk about it. So it's not necessarily a weak spot for me. It actually is a very strong spot for me to be able to speak about it now. And that's why I haven't spoken about it a lot in the past, because, or publicly, because it was a very, very, very soft spot, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I have learned how to kind of compartmentalize things and be able to speak about it and be my niece's voice, and stand up for my family and be an advocate, and not allow people to come in and dictate, you know and and do such horrible, nasty things and say such slanderous, defaming, libel things about me, which are not true. Hey, Dad the Ripper, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Welcome. I have to be that voice, and I have to have the strength to be able to do and say what I do. I'm not ripping on anybody. I'm not speaking badly about anybody. There's so many things that I could say, and I just right now just won't, because it's just not, it's just not the time or place right now. We want to have, my family wants to have peace. So many of every one of these families wants to have peace. And I don't really know, everybody's definition and everybody's way about getting peace for their own families is very different. Through such a traumatic event, and truly life altering, life changing. Um, And I'm so grateful to have all you guys by my side. And I'm so grateful to have your support. I want to thank each and every one of you. You know, I can't even begin to say how grateful I am. I can't. I cannot say how much gratitude I have. Oh, yeah, Dad, no problem. We're just chilling out, having a little, little combo. Yeah, we're all cool here. This is a safe space, I have to have a very chill, very zen kind of environment, because for those of you that know that my life can be chaos sometimes with all the kids and everything and the goings on. So every other part of my life has to be zen, I make it as comfortable and as warm and welcoming and as quiet as it possibly can be. I mean, quiet in the sense of, you know, just just chilling, you know, especially that it's like 3:45 my time. I hope all you guys are good. I hope everybody here is doing well. Everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving. Hey, Hug. You're up. How are you? Everybody is good. Thank you. Everybody is good. Oh, so I had some really great news this week, guys. You guys want to hear about my really great news this week? So I had parent conferences for my boys' school, and they started at a new school this year, and it's a change of schedule. We're up a lot earlier in the morning, the whole bit, right? But they seem like they're doing well, But it's just a different schedule. It's a different way that the teachers communicate, all those other things. But I was like really excited for them to start at this school. Because I felt like it was going to be a good next step, in their, just for them growing, you know what I mean? And they're young, but they're not, And so anyways, long story short, I had conferences with all of their teachers this past week. And, there have been so many things that we've been plagued with all of our kids, with the pandemic and being homeschooled for, as much time as they were homeschooled, and like two of the kids could go back to their school, but then two of the kids, because I have 4 kids total, like couldn't go back full time, and then this one was on quarantine and this one had to go to school. It was just like a whole shit show for a number of years. But outside of that, before even the pandemic, like my children, they were, well, like a lot of kids do, they were struggling with like some of the reading and writing and all of that. And so I have worked so tirelessly with their entire staff of the schools of where they went to. I wasn't like a helicopter mom, but I was involved and I always made sure I kept on top of things. Like when it came to their teachers, when it came to their conferences, when it came to extra meetings and getting them extra help and working with them at home and on all these other things. And I even did so much research as to like they eat well. Like my kids eat very well. They eat a lot of really good food, like not just shit food, like a lot of fruits and vegetables and things like that. But certain things with certain like food dyes could like spark up like hyperactivity, all of the shit. Anyways, at the end of the day, all that I've done all these years, all the hard work that my kids have put in, all the hard work that I've put in as a parent, it has finally paid off because they have turned a corner where they're not on the end where they're struggling anymore. Whether it was due to their learning disabilities or due to the pandemic or due to maybe teachers or things of that nature or whatever. Yeah, Morgan, COVID has lost our children a lot. And, but again, I was home with them every single day. I mean, it was hard. It was the hardest thing to have to transition to teaching them every single day and not knowing what was going to happen in the next couple of weeks when I first started. But these kids have finally taken a turn for the better, like, in terms of they were doing okay before, they were doing great, but now they've actually are above grade level, like, they've surpassed things, like, I was walking out of conferences, like, patting myself on the back, like, saying to myself, "This is why I have taken the time all these years to be so diligent in working with them and making sure I kept on top of things when it came to things with the school." And I always felt like, am I doing enough? Should I be doing more? This, that, and the other. And I was like a breath of fresh air. Like it was such a breath of fresh air that, because the last thing you want to see is your kid struggling. It was so hard to watch them want to get it. And like, it would just take so much more effort for them to get to go through a question or two for homework and things like that. Thanks, hugs. Yeah, that was my good news this week. That was my good news, is that like we've turned a corner, which doesn't mean that there's not going to be things that come up in the future, but it's like when you feel like you're chasing the eight ball and you're always behind, and then finally you're like at level or above or ahead, it just feels that much better, you know? Um, I mean, I've even been working with local government because everybody keeps saying, well, they're not, this is a general statement that the schools are making to us. And they're saying, well, they're not really at grade level. There's everybody's still behind. And it's like, I think we need to adjust what the requirements are for grade level for the fact that kids lost basically 2 years in the pandemic. They were home, and yes, parents were putting the time in or they weren't. But here's the thing, they weren't at school, so they need to restructure the rating scales because it's off for every single child, no matter what, right now. And so that's where I'm at right now, where I'm just working with local people to just try to get that change to be had, because I'm so sick and tired of hearing, well, they're not up to grade level, or they have to be measured and we have to do this and standardized testing. And I'm like, no, I think that everything needs to be relooked at and reevaluated at this point, and have new measures, new metrics in place. You guys are so quiet. What are you doing? Everybody just want to hear me ramble on and on and on. No. Thanks, hugs. You can be louder. We're just testing. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Yeah, Mosaic, it has been, yeah, it's been a hot mess. It's been a hot mess. Ugh. It's so great that the kids actually are in school, though, you know? It really is. Testing 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Uggs. I know, is this thing on? Is my thing on? Am I being the whisperer tonight? I have all these dogs. Okay, I have 2 dogs. I don't have all these dogs. But I have the dogs. They come under the covers with me. And they're like all curled up, like right underneath me. Like I have no room. Hug. Yeah, Morgan, right? I know. I have 2 dogs, Hug. I have a puggle. And I have so Louie is my puggle. And then I have a greyhound mix. She's a mutt. Well, she's a rescue, but she's definitely Italian greyhound mix. And her name is Lola, and she's 2 years old, and she's the baby. One of them, I think, is snoring right now. So funny. Yeah, so my bed gets taken up by, dogs and humans usually. Like I'll go to bed and there might be nobody in my bed. And then I wake up and there's like dogs and children or, you know. Yeah, Morgan, I'm sure your grandson will be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's scheduled to graduate this year. Yeah, they're doing a lot of they're making a lot of accommodations, like in terms of not just pacifying or passing kids through, but like giving them the extra help, I think now, But I was pushing for extra help from day one, It's amazing to think that this was like only 2 years ago that it started. Well, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah, I like animals. I like all the animals. You guys are cracking me up right now. You guys are cracking me up. Mosaic, I think you're the only mod in here right now. That's fine. Well, Morgan, here's the other thing too. I mean, if he's not catching on to the math, that's where I empower my kids, and I always say to them, ask for the extra help. If your teacher can't, or they see if they can meet with you after school, or you have a study period where they can meet with you. It's always empowering them. It's always empowering them to, ask for the help. Your big horse dog snores. Yeah, apparently I snore too, which I don't realize, but I guess I do. I'm too sound asleep to even know. Well, that's what I'm saying, Morgan, is that they need to readjust what the requirements are because a lot of these kids have fallen behind because of the fact that they've, whether you were home or not, like not having the educational experience like in school first and foremost, it took away from that educational experience. You know what I mean? So they really need to adjust, in my opinion, the requirements, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, and Mosaic is right here. She was a teacher at one time too. There's always time. I think of office hours, like that's like when I was in college, like, um, TAs and professors would have office hours you could go to and ask for extra help, whatever. But um, now with even so much of it is done online, you know what I mean? So the communication can be done online where the student or the parent can send an email, to the teacher. They can CC either a department head or a vice principal or something like that, where it doesn't fall upon deaf ears. You know what I mean? So you're kind of covering all your bases and just saying, listen, my child or the child can say like I'm having difficulty, and even if it's a couple of kids in his class, where they can say, hey, can we get a study group together? Can someone come and help us? Um, yeah, Morgan, you know what? You're absolutely right. They teach math. I am Math was one of my very strong subjects. Math and English were my two strong subjects, and they teach math. Now, I know in the elementary school level, they taught it very differently. I don't even know how they're teaching algebra, but you're right. It is hard for us to help the kids now because we had to learn a new way of doing all of the like math problems. You know what I mean? Like standardized, like, multiplication, addition, subtraction is not done in the same way that we learned. You know what I mean? um, they're having the kids round up to the nearest 10 or round down and then subtract, and they're wanting them to do it all in their heads. It's crazy. Yes, Common Core. Yes, that's what it is. Common Core. Yes. Mosaic. I've like, I couldn't, I couldn't understand it because I just knew. Here's the thing in my mind, math is factual, obviously. It is, you're not going to, it's either going to be the right or the wrong answer. And I know how to get there and I know how to get there fast. And this is how I do it. And they want the kids to not only do it a different way, they want them to show their thinking. And I'm like, oh God, what? Like it was so tough for my brain to like undo the way that I knew how to do things, to like even try to help my kids. Cause I'm like, I don't want to think about how to have to do it. Listen, if 1 + 1 = 2, that's exactly what it is. Why do I have to freaking tell you how I came to that conclusion? Oh my God. I'm telling you, it's just, oh my God. And you're like the same age as me, Mosaic. So like, yeah, like we learned the same way of doing things. And I was really good at math. And I'm like, listen, this is what it is. Like either you get it or you don't. It's kind of one of those things. Well, Morgan, here's the other thing too. If they're all stretched that thin, then, that becomes a much more needed cry for help or asking for assistance from the district. Random. Oh, random. You have fifth graders? Yeah, that's where my two of my boys are in fifth grade now. I can actually do it with them, like because now they're into like fractions and it's like more intense multiplication and division. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what it is, you know? Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too, Morgan. Like, there's a lot of kids that are suffering from like anxiety, you know? And, what you should do, if I can give a suggestion, is there are also some really great online math programs that I've worked with my kids on doing. Like, um, I'll have to find the names of them and I'll get them for you. And Mosaic Mama might know some of the programs too that you don't have to pay, but they're like tutorials for any grade level. Um, and it goes from like the basics of whatever they're doing, and it just kind of instills and helps, to reinforce all of that. Um, I forget which one my kids were doing. Oh gosh. Well, they do. I mean, my kids have all different ones. So like they do Dreambox as a practice math thing. And that's a lot of them are like subscriptions that the teachers get. Oh, here you go. Mosaic Mama says go to the Khan Academy online. But yeah. I know, Morgan, right? It's like ridiculous. I can't believe they're teaching algebra in a different way. I thought they were just doing Common Core stuff like differently. Um, Extra math. That's what it is. It's XTRA math. And that's an online tutorial that you can look into as well. I'll type in here. XTRA extra math. That was another one that the kids were using. And that's a great program. And I'll find the other ones too, because there were some really great free ones that I found online that helped. There were just different ways of doing it. And the kids and I like to do them. They were fun. So, well, yeah, Mosaic Mama, no child left behind, right? No child left behind. Yeah, Morgan, I know. I'm surprised it's being carried over into Algebra 2 now. Yeah, he should be getting in trouble because if he's showing his work and he's getting to the correct answer, it really shouldn't matter how he's getting to the correct answer, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. What are you going to not pass a kid because they didn't write it down the correct way? No, there's 1,000 different ways to do math problems. There's a bunch of different ways. That's crazy. Those are the ways of the world, though, right? The way that things go. So I'm going to be doing some videos coming up, guys. I'm going to be doing some real fun stuff. We're going to be doing a little bit of holiday cooking. We're going to be doing a little bit of holiday decorating. So I kind of want to bring you guys into the house and like have you be a part of like, just like not my daily life, but like what we're doing. The holidays in my house are we love to decorate. It's just such a good time for the kids. It's just a really good time for the kids. I don't know if I told you guys, I have to start living in construction pretty soon. So we're adding on to the upstairs of our house. And the Monday after Thanksgiving, they're taking the roof off of my house. I'm not looking forward to living in construction with the dogs and with the kids, and we've had to pack up, everything upstairs. So basically, what we're doing is we're making 4 rooms. We're making each kid is going to have their own bedroom. Each of the boys is going to have their own bedroom. So right now it's a big, 2 big rooms upstairs, and we're going to kind of square it off and, make it nice for the kids. Yeah, I'm going to tear the roof off of this sucker, except, oh my God. But we're going to try to do what we can, to decorate. And we always keep things festive around here. I cook for Thanksgiving. We cook like Christmas dinner, all that kind of stuff. Um, I've lost, over the years I had lost family members like right around the holidays. But we've never really tried to dwell on that. We've always just tried to kind of, be positive, especially for the kids. I've got some fun little projects. So I said, we might not be able to decorate outside as much as we do, normally because of the construction and, they're, oh my God, they're bringing in lumber, they're bringing in a dumpster, they're bringing in all this stuff. We're like, oh my God. But, we're going to still try to do as much as we can. So, I've been looking up some real fun, like DIY different things, I mean, I was telling Sharon, I was like, typically I put up like, I don't know, like 7 Christmas trees in my house. I have a Christmas tree in every room, and we have a theme, and we have this, we have that. But, we're going to be scaled back a little bit this year, but this weekend, Sunday, we're putting up just a tree and the lights just to get that up. Um, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm going to be doing some lives, just a little bit here and there. So it'll be fun. My crazy family. You should see all the kids. Oh my God, it's nuts. Most of my trees, so typically I'll do fake trees. Because we have our fireplace, and so it's less chance of something catching fire. But we have some really great, I usually get like 1 or 2 real ones, littler ones. Oh, Morgan, I'm sorry you're dreading the holidays. You can come be part of my Festivus for the rest of us. See, if I had it my way, I would have, oh my gosh, everything would be like white with gold and silver and like rose gold. And maybe like 1 touch of color. That's what I would do. Oh yeah, Hug. I've had the real ones over the years. You know what I have found? Some really amazing Christmas scented candles that make it smell like Christmas in the house. So it's like we have the real ones, but it's just the candles that are burning. And you know what? The real ones, like, they're so expensive now. Like, even for the small ones. Like, I get like a little, like I call it the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, like where it comes in like the little, wooden stand, and they're like 30 or 40 bucks just for a little one. Yes, we should do a Festivus live stream. We're going to do a Festivus. That's okay, Morgan. You can absolutely have a year off if you need one. You can just watch me go crazy and laugh at me. It's totally fine. So the other funny thing is that, like, our kids, I shouldn't say anything because I know that they watch my live stream sometimes. So I'm not going to go there. We all still believe, which is a wonderful thing because, Santa Claus exists. So we always have that magic happening. Hug. That's right. You know what Sundays are called in my house? Sundays are called meatballs and insult Sundays. That's what we do in my house on Sundays in this house, especially during football season. Yeah, Morgan, do you do color themes? The baby blue bulbs, yeah, that's nice. I used to have a theme every year on my Christmas tree. So like I still have all of my ornaments from when I was a kid, but then I would do a color theme. So like I might do like red lights and then have all silver and gold and like red like ornaments and red lights, and that's what it was. Or like I would do blue, like the blue was really cool too. Yeah. Santa is always in our hearts. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, so we'll start to decorate the Infinity household. And you guys can all be a part of it. The kids will show you everything. Oh, I'm just looking at my calendar. I've got my someone coming to take a look at the heating and cooling system tomorrow morning to see what we need to do for duct work for the addition. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening now. Yeah, I just got to figure out a way that I got to like take plastic and like really cut off like where the upstairs is from like the stairwell, because the dust and everything, like I don't want it coming down into the rest of the house. And I also have to figure out a way. I've got to get like an extended gate so the dogs can still have partial reign of the downstairs, but this way they don't run out the door. You know what I mean? When the contractor's coming in and out. Because we still have to go to work and the kids still go to school. So that's the other thing I got to figure out. But that's okay. It'll be all right. One way or the other. But anyways. Um, well guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in. Random, you have a great night. Yeah, I'm just gonna get off here now too. I'm gonna get a few hours of sleep. Um, and I appreciate everybody's support and their love and everybody being here. I really appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me. You really do. Every single one of you that's here. Even if you're not talking and you're in the bushes, just to be able to be here, just to listen, it means a lot. But I will be coming on more now that I'm actually feeling a little bit better. So, yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good time. So, oh wait, am I putting the tree up tomorrow's Sunday, right? I think I'm gonna be putting the tree up tomorrow. I think we're going to decorate right after Thanksgiving. I am so lost at the days, guys. It's not even funny. Can you just like... I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Morgan, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, everything's okay. Everything is okay because it has to be okay. But my point tonight, the reason that I did this was because even though it's a couple weeks later, I had to say what I had to say. It's not okay. And I won't just let things go because that's not the kind of person I am, and sometimes I just have to wait things out. And unfortunately, I didn't have a voice because I literally didn't have a voice, and I was sick and I couldn't say what I wanted to say, So, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming in, everybody. And I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night or morning. And I'll see you guys really soon. I love you long time. Good night, guys.